This segment is at the 11 days till handing date mark, and I've still got quite a bit to do, more than I'd like, and it's to do with my image viewer. In the previous video you saw me trying to work out the bugs I had with the scrolling and the resizing. Now the resizing I couldn't end up fixing. I'll show you how it works first of all, then explain through as I usually do. In the end I had to just take resizing out on the thumbnails because it just proved to not work. I mean, a possible way around it is to have smaller images uploaded to the server, but I'm not sure if I want to go that far or if I want to just leave it as it is. Some resizing is going on still, I'm not sure why. I think it's part of the code that's still in there that's working. It comes up a little bit prematurely because the navigation at the bottom is tied to a timer, whereas this is tied to the on load. So what we do is just reduce down the timer on the bottom part down here. As you can see, got a drop down menu up here which shows you the possible albums you can go to. That doesn't update at the moment, the top part doesn't update, that's a simple change there. These images all have got much reduced file size and are much quicker to load. They're all centered as well. You can't click on the same one more than twice. Smooth scroll works, although it's not very smooth with the lag. But one feature that does work now, which I'm quite impressed about, is if you go to the second album on the list, it takes you down there, the album has loaded, you've now got this album with some test images in that's loaded there. And you'll notice that it's got rid of the empty ones again. These arrows will also disappear, so again a very small change. But the problem is, as you can see, the thumbnails down here show about a 1/16 of the image. It's a tiny quarter up here. You can compare it on this side as well. I don't really think that's that big of a problem because it makes things work now. If you go back to the first album, it resets things back to the larger size and reputs the images in again. Again with the same problem as before, that the images aren't properly resized. For example, that one there ends up being about half the size of the bigger image. So it's to do with how it's resizing the actual JPEGs I've cut out originally. But the problem was that when you went to the second album with a different resizing scale, it moved the placement box, so this little box here with the thumbnail, is out of alignment. And when you went back to the original thumbnail, it tried to put the image inside it and wouldn't for some reason reset the thumbnail back to where it should be. So I had various ways of doing that. They're all listed inside the Actions 1 layer of the slider. If you want to view them, they're all commented out, ready to be viewed. And it's all just explained there, the problems I had. So yeah, to finish off the image viewer is just a case of making the menu down here, when you click on one, update the title at the top. I have a second area on the right hand side here next to album, which basically is just the title of the image, which is fairly simple to do. Roughly know how to do that. In my head I know how to do it. Make these arrows disappear, which means that this will be static and not moving. And that's it for this. Then it's on to the text viewer. A couple other changes that are quite important is that because of the time constraint and just how things work, text editor will now be text viewer. And what I'm going to do is this area here will now be a selection area, much like the image viewer. I'll show you here. Much like the image viewer's nameplate with the drop-down menu, what you'll have for the text viewer is this drop-down menu with lists of the various attached text files. And what that allows you to do is you can read the text files that have been saved as attachments, and this scroll bar down the side will work. I assure you it will work. That's a fairly simple feature. I say crossing my fingers. The editing function, sorry, getting ahead of myself, the settings function and the messenger will both be listed as locked. So you'll load this screen, it will be a black canvas over the top, so asking you to log in and put your username and password in. This is part of my rebranding of the idea, which I'll explain in a second. The email side of things will have, we ignore the output, it will have a fully populated panes of text. Now, you won't be able to send emails like I was hoping, purely for the fact that I've looked into how to do AI again, and it's much more complex than I first gave it credit for. And I just don't think I'm going to have the time to put this into this kind of project. To be in its own right, it is a project in itself, doing an AI system like that. So this will be simply dynamically loaded lists of emails, sent, received, all the attachments, and you can view them. The attachments will link straight through to the relevant image or text editor section, I hope. And all of that will act as a sort of story, so that it's constantly areas such as the messenger client, the adding attachments, sending emails, settings, that'll ask you to log in. And the username and password will have username and password hints. Now, to sort of get through those hints, you need to find the information from the images, the text files, and the emails to learn about the user. And once you do that, you have won, in inverted commas, the game. My next step is to finish off the image viewer and then we'll start work on the text editor. So my next update will be tomorrow, which is Friday the 2nd of May, technically today. And that will be the text editing function, or text viewing function, hopefully with a working drop-down menu. I'm not sure how that will pass the bibliographies yet, but the bibliographies yet. I shall work on that. Things are moving forwards. I shall get things done in time. No doubt about that. Thank you. I'll see you again soon.